So this is day 3 and the final day of our geometry unit. And we're going to focus on midpoint and distance, which we'd already discussed way back in unit 1, but we're going to apply it to geometry. So number 1, given right triangle ABC, find the midpoint of the longest side of the triangle. Well, you know from yesterday that the longest side is the hypotenuse, which is opposite the right angle. So we're talking about this side. And I need the midpoint. Well, I need the coordinates. So the coordinates for A, 1, 2, 3, -3, and 1, 2, 2. And then B is 5, -1. So the midpoint, -3 plus 5 is 2, half that's a 1, and 2 plus a -1 is a 1, and half that is a half, so A. So 1/2, so right about there is our midpoint. Number 2, given the vertices, what is the midpoint of the longest side? Okay, so same thing, but they didn't give us a triangle, so we have to draw it. So 0, 4, 3, 5, and 1, 1. Now you have to find your right angle, and the hypotenuse is opposite. So we're talking about this one. I want the midpoint. So I need this guy, which was 3, 5, and this guy, which was 1, 1. So the midpoint, add in half. So 3 plus 1 is 4, half that would be 2. And 5 plus 1 is 6, half that would be 3. So 2, 3. Okay, so number 3, again, wants the midpoint of the longest side. Okay, so we find our points. So -4, 5, and -6, 3, and 0, 1. And you find your right angle, and the hypotenuse is opposite that. So that one was 0, 1, and this one was -6, 3. -6 and 0 is -6, half that's a -3, and 3 and 1 is 4, and half that would be 2. So there's your midpoint. Number 4, we're going to skip that one. Let's look at number 5. Now, number 5 is not midpoint anymore. Number 5 is area. This is area of a triangle. You know that area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So you start there because that's what you need. So I need the length of the base and the length of the height. Okay, so let's plot our points. 3, 0. And I'm going to label them as we go. 3, 0, 7, 0, and 7, 4. Okay, now this one's really nice. This is our hypotenuse, so this is the base, and this is the height. And normally on a right triangle, you've got to use the distance formula to find it. But because this one is laid out vertical and horizontal, all we have to do is count. Our base is 4, and our height is 4. And so 1/2 times 4 times 4, well, 4 times 4 is 16, and half that would be an 8. Okay. Next one I don't think is going to be quite so nice. So make sure you look out for ones like number 5 because those are easy. Okay, so find the area of a triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and write my formula down. Okay, vertices 13, -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, -1. And -9, 3. No, that's +9. Let's try that again. -9, 3. -9, 3, and -3, negative 9. Big triangle. Okay, now you got to find your right angle. Okay, so that's him. Hypotenuse is opposite, so there's my hypotenuse. Okay, so my base and my height are not the hypotenuse. They're these guys. So I need the distance of this guy and this guy. Okay, so let's do the distance formula. So first one, I'm going to do this point and this point. So negative 9 minus a minus 3 squared plus 3 minus a minus 9. And then I'm going to do this point here and this point here. Negative 3 minus 13 squared plus negative 9 minus a negative 1 squared. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my handy dandy calculator, and I'm going to start with my parentheses, and I'm going to go negative 9 plus 3 squared, nope, squared plus 3 plus 9 squared. So that's the square root of 180. And then negative 3 minus 13 squared, negative 9 plus 1 squared. 320. Square root of 320. So then in my formula, I have 1/2 times the square root of 180 times the square root of 320. I'm going to take my calculator and I do 1/2 times the square root of 180, close my parentheses or get out from under your square root, times the square root of 320. And I got 120 on the dot. So my area is 120. So first things first, plot your points, then find your right angle. Your right angle points to the hypotenuse. That's the side you don't need. Your 1/2 base times height, your base and your height are your legs. So you have to find the distance of your legs, your base and your height. Okay, so let's try it again. So find the area. Okay, so -1, -7. And again, I'm going to label as I go. 5, -5. And 9, -17. 9, -17. So way down here. Okay, so then we right angle. So this is my hypotenuse. That's the side I don't want. So I want this one and I want this one. I want the two legs. So my formula, area equals 1/2 base times height. Okay, so then I gotta find -1 minus 5 squared plus -7 minus a -5 squared. And 5 minus 9 squared plus -5 minus a -17 squared. Grab my calculator. -1 minus 5 squared plus -7 plus 5 squared. 40. So equals root 40. And 5 minus 9 squared plus -5 plus 17 squared. Root 160. So then I go 1/2 root 40 times root 160. So 1/2 times root 40 times root 160. I got 40. Okay, last one. Same thing. Find the area. Area equals 1/2 base times height. Okay, plot my points. -1, 4. Right angle, which means I don't want him. I want this guy and this guy. So the square root of -1 minus 3 squared plus 4 minus 1 squared, and the square root of 3 minus 0 squared plus 1 minus a minus 3 squared. $25. 25. So this is 1/2 times the square root of 25 times the square root of 25. Which is 12.5. So some of these wanted the midpoint of the longest side, so you find your right angle. The longest side is across from it, and you find your midpoint. And some of these want the area. Area is 1/2 base times height. The base and the height are the two legs, and you use your distance formula to find those lengths.